Okay, welcome to Stampscapes Live. I'm trying this again right here. I just got an error message and I wasn't quite sure if I was broadcasting or not. Quarter page, dark blue cardstock with some white ink. We're adding some clouds in here. We're going to add these glow-in-the-dark elements like this, hopefully for just a nice quick stream, a quick card live stream here. And we'll see how this goes on this paper. I just got this paper, so I wanted to see how it would work. I got it mostly to matte some cards, but I do like trying some of this white on dark sometimes. It makes for kind of a good exercise in utilizing light tones on a dark surface. And it's certainly, kind of minimalist to do because we're not going to be coloring this at all. So we're just using some white ink in this case. All right, so see these wisps in here, trying to add that on. I'm back. Yeah, I got that error message and it said, it said it in the beginning. It said discontinue stream or continue. I don't know what it said. I lost contact. Maybe it's the rain we're having out here. Good to see you, Julia. How are you? Okay, so this is if you haven't done this before, now this is on a matte cardstock, so it has kind of a, it's almost like adding like chalks or something. It's very, very dry feeling, okay? And I don't know, it's pretty fun to do. I enjoy doing it. It is a weird kind of sensation, though, a little bit. So something that you kind of have to get used to because we don't really, use that type of, or apply on that type of surface too often with this type of thing right here. So it feels like you're just kind of, I don't know, applying like chalk on a chalkboard or something of that sort. All right. So I'm trying to go for kind of a real gestural type of look. I don't always have to, but on this one I am. So maybe it looks like wind or something like that. There's a little bit of spirit to it, hopefully. Is the video cutting out sometime? Yeah, what's the other white area near the bottom? Which was that? Where's that, Margaret? You mean right here? Those are clouds, if that's what you're wondering. I'm not sure. Unless you mean this little bit right here. That was like my finger blob. Okay, but anyways, I started building this up. This is kind of like this, and what I mentioned in the previous videos. I just kind of have this kind of moving around as I apply, okay? And that keeps your kind of clouds a little bit more kind of amorphic and moving. Clouds are always kind of moving, so I just take, and they're soft, right? They're vapor, so I use a cotton ball for that, for application, because I want a real soft look, so I use a soft applicator. And I want them to be kind of like moving in spirit, so I kind of move this around like that. Okay, I'm not moving it around like this and applying, okay, but as you do this, you can kind of like, move this around a little bit like this, okay? It can be like where you're not necessarily going for that exact shape right there. You kind of get it in there, like that, but it's not exactly, let me see. I guess it's like right there, and then that was right here. So it's applying like that, and, I'm going like that. But then what you also do is you come out of it like this, because it's always a little bit clunky if it's like really sharp looking. So you apply this, and you're kind of applying it like right on that edge right there, okay? So you're applying some back into the cloud, but then you're applying out of it, and that's where my cotton ball is hitting. And it's about a 1/4 inch out or so, something like that. And that's why this shape here is a little bit more, I don't know, whatever, realistic. Not that you can have like a real stylized look, like with a you know, those plastic templates, which I do like the look of. Okay. I'm just not necessarily going for it here. All right, so we have this tent down here, and I'm going to put this little bit of a, or try to have a little bit of like this glow around it, like the tent is, you know, casting some light. So we'll go like this. I'll try to transition it a little bit. So I'm applying it a little bit more right here, and then as you go out to the edge, you know, you're applying some as well, but you're kind of condensing it a little bit closer, like right in there. Now that's just like one little wipe there. Ink up a little bit more. So you can kind of spread it around like that. Now see, on the outside perimeter like this, I'm using a little bit less pressure, so it's transitioning a little bit more. It's not just this like big solid area of just white and then paper, okay? And that's where that tent can go, something like that. Like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like a little casting some light in there. If you want a little bit of shadow from the, you know, the bottom of the tent or something like that, you know, where your sleeping bag is, then I can just, after I apply this down here, what I'll do is I'll just take a colored pencil and I'll color that in right there. So you can refine all this stuff with other things. You might even be able to refine it with some like pastels or something like that too, because this is a matte paper, okay? There's not a lot of tooth to this one. This type of thing too, you might go for extra texturing. You might try something like, you know, paper like a linen or something like that. You know, you'd have these linen patterns within the space, and that might be kind of cool too. All right, so see that moon up there? You give that little bit of extra kind of wispiness. It might look kind of interesting, you know, with that. Just a little bit of variation. After all, these ones come together really fast, so, you know, they're no time at all to do. I mean, you can do, I guess you can put in like little tiny details in there if you want to. You know, and fine tune it. You can get those little, those little makeup applicators, you know, that have a little tiny foam brush at the end, and you can probably go in here and do like some little touches within the clouds or something like that, you know, and that might be kind of fun. Let me see if I can add in some of these trees in here, and I'm going to try it in white, okay? I don't know if this is going to work out at all. I haven't done this for a while, so I just figured I kind of need a little bit of practice with this. Or we can do them, I don't know, I guess we can do them in black too. I don't know, I'm really confused here. Oh, Cynthia, how are you? Uh-oh, it's gone. What happened there, Margaret? We're using magic inks here. But I wanted to do something really fast here. And like I said, or I guess I posted on my previous video description that I had to cancel. I just got this paper and I wanted to experiment with it a little bit. So, you know, if you get some new types of papers in, sometimes it's a good thing to kind of figure out what they can do, you know, for different types of purposes. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to vary my impression here if I can. So I'm just kind of darkening in some of these trees by just removing some of the white ink, you know. You remove some white ink and it should stamp out darker because it's stamping out drier. I don't know. That's in theory. Let's see how it does. I don't even know if this will apply on here. I hope it does, of course, but we'll see. I think the clouds are in the background are like thicker than the ink that I'm transferring or trying to transfer here, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, these clouds are pretty fun to do. Okay, that's really, really light in there. Let's do another one. Let's do it a little bit thicker. And this might just end up looking too anemic, you know, just with like white. But let's go with my theory here, or I don't know, concept, I guess, was that you know, maybe some of these trees are kind of reflecting some of that moonlight in there. I mean, they're not going to be really reflecting very much if they're like completely invisible like that, though, right? I might have to do them in black or layer it, you know. Maybe that would be a good idea, you know, having some white ones in the background, silvery, you know, or something like that, and some darker ones offset against it, maybe. Yeah, maybe we'll try that. Let me give it a try here. I just wanted some of them to be a little bit shimmery. Okay, that's a little bit lighter. Let's add in that. Let's see if we can add in that depth here. Let's do. I can go with another one right here. I tell you what, let's frame this off instead. Okay, so this is going to go right here. I can't have a tree that's going to go like in the foreground here that's like really dark, and then have it behind this tent. You know what I mean? It wouldn't make sense. So I just have to have it in right over here, I guess. Let's see. Okay. Matte cardstock with all this applied to it. We're going to have to go pretty thick. So we'll have to use a pigment ink on here. But let's do this right here. And let me see, maybe right over here like this. Maybe that'll frame the piece off a little bit. I forget how to do these things. You know, it's like I haven't done these types of things in a while. So something like this was really fun to do, like these little wispy types of looks and you know, whatever textures like that. They were really fun to do on like a Star Dream paper, those kind of whatever, iridescent, shimmery types of paper, because when you kind of angled them, they were really kind of shiny. But on, I don't know, like a plain, you know, just matte blue cardstock, it might not be kind of interesting enough. I don't know, we can add on other things, I guess. Especially these days after we've been using things like, you know, glitters and holographics or something like that, you know. Sometimes you can't go back. You can, but, you know, sometimes when I start working on things like, whatever, glitter on holographic over silver foil reflection cards with glow-in-the-dark whatever elements in them. The other things seem a little bit like too tame by comparison. All right, brilliant. Let me see if I can get an impression on here at all. You know, a dark enough one. It's always the question. I'm sure I can stamp over that, you know, that bare cardstock like right down in here. My question is always, though, how is this going to look over like a thick layer of white pigment ink or something like that? Is it going to apply, or is the part where the black stamps over the white, is the white going to be too absorbent so that the bottom part, maybe where there's no white underneath here, maybe that's darker, but then where it overlaps the white, is it too, is it gray looking because of the absorption of that ink? So I don't know. I'm never really quite sure until I do it. And I just don't do this type of thing enough to where I kind of remember that. I'd have to watch one of my videos to remember something like that. Yeah, that looks actually pretty good there. You almost can't even see it down here because it's over, you know, it's black over, you know, dark blue, but, you know, good enough, I guess. Especially where it moves up into here. That really looks good. It looks almost like a It's like a reverse impression almost, because you're just like stamping dark into the white now. So you're putting white on the black dark, and then dark over the white there. It looks like it's cut out to me or something. All right, let's go like this. We do need space for this, of course. Like that. Let's go over here. Go like so. It'd be kind of cool to have some trees like in front of that glow-in-the-dark tent, but you know that glow-in-the-dark tent is raised, so if I try to stamp over it a little bit with a little bit of tree, I'm not going to get that, you know, the impression around it. Unless anyone can think of how to do that. you'd have to do one of those things where maybe this is applied down here, and then you cut out. I'm never going to do this, okay? You got to cut out that shape of that out of the paper so that you can put that glow in the dark inset into that space, you know? All right, like that. And let's see here. Something like that right there. Okay, is this drying real fast? I was hoping that these two things would dry pretty fast because it's that matte paper, which I don't work with too often. Left and right foreground images are looking a little bit too symmetrical for me, so I'm putting this right down here. It's just a little tiny thing. I'm just using that like an inch off the top of this. Like that. See, it looks a little bit, doesn't it look a little bit better? Now this thing's like this tall, where, I don't know, these two right here were like really equal, okay? See, it's like those ones in the distance are a little bit offset too. Just so things aren't quite so static. Or whatever, like it's like overbalanced, you know, whatever, visual weight wise. All right, now let's see if I can do something in the background a little bit to enhance this, if I can. So this is supposed to be just a real quick card, you know, a couple different tones of ink. I was just going to go with the white ink and just with the glow-in-the-darks, but that just, I don't know, it was too anemic looking, I think. Actually, let's do this thing too. It shouldn't take too much time. Let's do this. This might kind of frame things off a little bit more. Still just going with two tones of ink. I'll take this black Brilliance ink right here, and let's do this. Let's frame this off. This area up top here, I don't like it, okay? The trees down here kind of framed it off a little bit by having some darker elements in these corners like this, but this up here doesn't look contained to me. It looks too open, even though it's really dark. But let's go in and add in kind of a little bit of darker framing like that. See that right there? And then let's do that from over here. So kind of the four corners again, you know, in terms of a little bit of a, or a lot, you know, of a darker, whatever, vignette, framing, whatever you want to call it. I'll even put some of this down here too. It's kind of giving that white a little bit of a kind of a nicer tone over there. See how it's not so glary, just white all the way across like that? really, really dry application of this. Just getting, I don't know, like it's probably like each tap is like a 2% gray or something like that. I'm guessing. So if you tap it, whatever, um, 10 times, it might be, I don't know, whatever, like a 10% gray. Because each time you tap it, it gets drier and drier, though. I really like it up top here. It's like a little bit more of a, kind of like a more mottled area, I guess. If you put too much of the black in there, you can go back in with white too, I'm sure. You know, it's like a little bit more of a circular process. It's not just, okay, you go with white, then you go with the black. You can go with the white again over the top of it too. And let's see. I think that moon looks better against that too, like that. Okay, and oh, here I wanted to do this too. Black and white media, right? The Dr. Martens bleed proof white, or you can try other types of white paint media or something like that. And as I've said, I always mention it because one of my students that doing Stampscapes early on, she used to use a correctional pen. She correctional pen, and that she would I think she kind of she took the pen and then she just opened the cap or something like that, and with like another stick or something like that, she went like this, and it splattered, whatever liquid paper or whatever type of correctional pen she was using on there, and that worked really good because it's like super opaque, which is what this is all about. Okay. And let's see, let's get these guys added in here. Hello, Bonnie. Sherry, good to see you. Hello, Sharita. Glad you like the card, Sherry. This one's a little experiment here, It's kind of a little bit of just a real simple, kind of quick card type of thing. Not quite as ornate, but I do like this. Kind of the white on dark, kind of reverse out type of technique when I'm doing these types of things. I'm going to move this up here. This like line right here is bothering me. I'm going to move this tint like right up in here, and I think that solves it. Yeah, down here doesn't look good. Right up here, much better. So I was thinking about these like types of little glow-in-the-dark types of cards. I mean, you can make the whole card, you can just stamp on the entire card, and I've done that before with glow-in-the-dark inks. And that would be fun. I'm thinking about it for like kids. But, you can come up with some pretty fun little projects for kids, or cards for kids, I sent one out to this customer in Hong Kong, of all places, and they just don't have access to a lot of different things, and or as convenient as we have it. But she has a couple little kids, and or younger kids, like elementary school kids, and she says, yeah, I'll send her out like a card using the glow in the dark, and the kids loved it. I mean, I would have loved it. I love it now. But Yeah, you want to do like those little types of things like that. It's like so easy to do. You just like stamp out a couple different elements on it. We're competing with like giving cards to kids. We're competing kind of with iPads and things like that. Kids still love doing things by hand though, and crafting and everything like that. But if you give them something, it's like the old kind of illustrator type of, I don't know, not motto or something like that, but in illustration, if people are like flipping through a magazine or something like that, and you've done an illustration for it, if you can get people to stop for like a few seconds and to kind of like observe, oh, wait, what is that? And then they move on. That's what you're kind of hoping to do. Or if you do an illustration for a magazine or an advertisement or something like that. So, kids, getting their card and whatever, maybe someone's, gives them a present too. They're looking through that card and, it's putting it away instantly. But if you can get them to kind of like run into the bathroom or closet with it and check it out, that's a win. Okay, a little bit of extra white pigment ink over some of these. I don't know if it's snowfall or stars or whatever. Like that. See those like little glowy little bits up there like that? I think that's fun. Or I've mentioned this before too, if some kid has a little kind of glow in the dark card, they might put it next to their bed or something like that. So they can look at it when they flip off the lights. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? So if anyone ever gets an original card from me and it has a glow in the dark element, and if you tell me that you put it next to your bed, all right, little glowy little orbs right in here. Because we need to bring in some kind of little excitement down into this lower section, I think. Because we want it to be, somewhat interesting, whatever, without the lights off too. We want some lights on interest. All right, let's see. Right, like that, and let me see something. This little area right down here, I originally was going to put the tent down there, but now it looks like a little glowy space right there. I think we could stamp like a deer in there. I think it would work in terms of perspective. Do I want the whole thing in there, or maybe this would be like a larger one kind of looking into the space like that? Or would that be too much? I don't know. Maybe this one's, maybe not this one, but let me see if I can find something here. I'm hoping I have something right on my desk. Or it could be like a person too. Like a hiker or something like that, or sheet. This one's a little bit too small. This little horseback rider. I didn't leave like so much space right here. Let's see. Glowing mosquitoes. Maybe that like radioactive mosquitoes then, Linda? All right, a little bit too big. It's one of those things about kind of not planning out some fairly significant potential element until the end. Oh, let me do something here too. Put these little tiny rocks right in here. That. All right, so see those little textures right down in there. They added a little something to it, huh? All right, here, let me see if I have another image that I'm kind of not thinking of. I was originally going to put one of these, I don't know, whatever, like worshipping, elements in here from the new sets. I was going to put her, one of these women. Where's that? Oh, here we go. I was going to put like one of the, like that character like that on like a rock right here. That's why I had, I don't know, I put my rock on the ground here. I was going to put her on a rock here, kind of with her arms up like that, but then I would have to make the background a little bit lighter, and I wasn't quite sure about that one, but oh, let me see here. Her with that lantern, I think. Let me see. Or those ones might be a little bit too big. I really wanted to put that bigger character there. Let's do this. All right, here, I know what I'm going to do here. I think. All right. Sorry, folks. It's the Stampscapes lab. It's not nothing here is like completely planned out. As you can see, it makes for a really a stumbling kind of presentation sometimes, or a lot of times, or mostly. All right, let me see here. Okay, remember that thing, that edge of that glow-in-the-dark tent. I mean, yeah, glow-in-the-dark tent is raised, so I can't stamp her over that part. All right, again, stamping dark or black into white pigment ink, kind of a thick layer of it, or semi-thick layer. So she's right there. And we can't see her very well, but I'm going to see if I can do this. This is going to be like a game of operation. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, I guess I could do this right here. Let me see. I'm going to stamp her out like that. I just need a little bit of a reference point in here so I could see her with that little lantern, and I'm going to just chop out that lantern in my glow-in-the-dark vinyl, and then we'll stick that right on that lantern. It might be, I don't know if it'll be too tiny to really matter, but let's see. It's like, I don't know, like a 2mm cutout. Is that it? It's like that. I need a pair of tweezers for this operation. How am I going to get that? How am I going to get that separated from that background, the sticker, backing? Okay, this is going to be the hardest thing I've done in stamping ever without a... All right, that's not happening here. I'm, I just got to get it. I got to get this thing started right here. There's no way I'm going to get that backing off that little tiny chip right there. So let's just, here. I'll do it like this. I'll just cut out a little tiny piece like this. Look, that doesn't fit though. All right, there we go. What we're going for is kind of an interesting, trying to go for an interesting scene here, but also what we're going for is the most frustrating live stream to watch in the history of stamping videos. All right, there we go. All right, let me see. That's a little bit too big. It's a really tiny lantern. Now, I never intended to do like a little glowing lantern, you know, that's like this 2 millimeter wide one in glow in the darks like that. I guess if you really wanted to do it, I don't know, maybe it would just be, it's almost easier just to stamp out and cut out the figure all in glow in the dark and just, you know, have her as a sticker or something like that. All right, that is not it. It's a good thing my camera can't like zoom in too close here. Here, I'll just go around. Okay, here we go. I'll just, I think that's, is that? Yeah. At first there, I was thinking, did I like put that glow in the dark sticker thing like right side up or not? Here, let me, it's not adhered down hard enough. There we go. And then I'm just going to go in and it's I'm putting it, I'm stickering it down onto like wet ink or something. Check the Facebook page after, and I'll do the final piece. Close your eyes and imagine that little lantern there glowing. All right, let's see. I'll put like little kind of like a glowing, I don't know, maybe that little lantern's like casting a little bit of a brighter light right in here. Something like that. All right. That doesn't look like it's really that lantern glowing. Okay, she's like super wet right now. That impression right there. I'm going to add a little bit of mist over that when she's dry though, okay? And I want to let that kind of adhere onto there after this dries too. And I'm going to put this little glow, I'm going to try to, just like I did on some of these, right over the top of that so it looks like this little glowing lantern, okay? Well, let's take a look here. Hello, Sheila. All right. Let's take a look here. I'll just turn off some of these lights and see if we can get the gist of it. Well, kind of. All right, I don't know if that little lantern there really made, you know, difference at all. here in person you can see it, but I need to put that little kind of glow around it like that. But, you know, I don't know, 3 little glowing elements. The stars kind of stand out pretty decently for just being in white, but it's kind of my camera picking it up. Here in person, when I'm looking at this, I've mentioned this before, but these two elements right here, they're a lot greener looking than what they look like on camera here. It's like, it's more like that right there, I guess, what I'm looking at. Yeah, it's a little bit, well, it's a little bit of brighter green, I guess. It's almost like lime green. So, just a little experiment here. I wanted to play around. I had, a couple of these other tents and this moon stamped out on the glow in the dark. And like I said, I just got this paper in, so I wanted to test it out and see what it looked like. When I've done this before, again, I've used kind of a little bit more of like an interesting surface, like the Startering papers or the Pearl X, something that has a little bit of shimmer to it. I just wanted to see what this could potentially look like again on, just a plain matte dark blue type of surface, and I wanted to see how absorbent it was too. So I don't know. I think there's other things we can do in here. Some silver, you know, gel pens or ink pens or something like that up in the skies. They're, slightly more reflective maybe, and stars. I don't know, maybe a couple of other glowing elements too. Maybe instead of this just being like that, we do this as a reflection card from like here down. I'd probably do horizontal format, not like vertical like this. And we put more of these like things like the like a floating lantern type of things in there. That would be pretty cool, huh? Having these like in water, like in the foreground right here or something like that. That may be kind of interesting, like that, down in this area. Or you can have some little lanterns like on a pathway leading to that too. Like we use one of the paths or something like that and have it flanked with the different size lanterns like that. You don't have floating lanterns, but you just use this top portion of it. But this looks pretty good in there on that paper. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do like a much more kind of I don't know, whatever. We'll double the use of the glow in the darks on this type of paper like that. I think we can come up with some, like a pretty quick scene on there somehow. But it'll just be kind of featuring those types of elements like that. All right, yeah. So, yeah, little experiment there. My second one, I'll try to come up with something kind of a little bit more dynamic like that. I just wanted to get into a little bit of a touch with, that little kind of flowy type of white on dark application like that. A pokey tool. What's a pokey tool? Whatever that is, I need it. Or like a pin even. Yeah. Yeah, a stick pin would have been helpful there. This one's like much too small. If I do that again, it's got to be, I was doing her right there, okay? This one right here would have been awesome right there. And she would have been more in the foreground. I didn't leave room in here because I wasn't thinking about this. If I did this again too, I'd kind of feature her, and I'd have a much lighter background, maybe where the tent's over like this way if it's on a quarter page card too. But yeah, I really like that. I really like that other card that I did with like this figure like this one right here. Or I don't know, it was one of these, but she's like this, and like the moon's like in the background or something like that too. And I think that would be kind of cool. So she, if this was like a ledge here or something like that, with some clouds right above it, and then she could be in darkness, as a silhouette against some of these clouds like that. That would be probably a more interesting composition for this one too. Have something like this down here. Lanterns in the water. Moon warship. As we all do. Hey, I think that's supposed to be, wasn't there like a lunar eclipse today? We're not getting it here in San Diego because it's like super rainy. It's probably like cloudy outside, but I think there was a lunar eclipse in the next, or like a couple, like, I thought it was like 2 days or something like that. So if you have a view of the moon, maybe look into it where you are. All right, preliminary moon worship composition right here. We'll go with that one. But I really like that. I want to use some of this paper again, just for a really quick application. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to throw those lanterns in the water like that again. I like this idea of this paper, like that transitioning. So I think we can come up with something really fast. And, the whole thing is just having, a bunch of these things like ready to go and just like stickered on. And I think that'd be pretty interesting in terms of, I don't know, whatever composition arrangement. Maybe I'll go a little bit slightly slimline too. I really like that format with those reflection cards. So next time, yeah. All right, everyone, have a great rest of evening. Thanks for joining in. Hope to see you on the next live.